Prehistoric snakes are back, and they are bigger than ever. The TITANOBOA supposedly went extinct millions of years ago, but these terrifying encounters might actually tell a different story. So let's start off with this giant serpent that was enjoying a very muddy swim. It's not often you can go to a beach and stumble upon a terrifyingly huge snake at the shore. That is exactly what happened on this occasion, where a lone traveler came face to face with one of the biggest snakes the world has ever seen. Now obviously this is not the kind of beach where you would go swimming or pop open your lounge chair. This is not really the most welcoming sight in the world with its muddy shores and tall swamps on either side, but this made it the perfect place for a giant snake. This behemoth was instantly recognizable as soon as it appeared on camera. The snake could be seen slithering its way through the muddy waters towards the nearby swamp, and it was quite the unsettling sight. Experts believe this serpent was well over 40 feet in length, which is quite similar to the proportions of the TITANOBOA. Now thankfully it did not seem to notice the nearby human and just continued on towards the swamp. Coming face to face with this prehistoric giant would not have ended very well, so it's a very good thing this snake did not turn around. Here is a terrifying encounter that took place in the middle of the jungle. The island of Borneo is well known for its amazing wildlife, and snakes are definitely near the top of that list. There are many large serpents who call the island their home. Now it appears that a TITANOBOA might also be living on the island. This person received the shock of a lifetime while they were out in the jungle and stumbled across one massive serpent. The sighting also happened to take place in a fairly open area, which really made the creature stick out like a sore thumb. It's hard to get an accurate measurement from the video. This one appeared to be in the neighborhood of 50 feet long. The clip wasn't very long itself, and that's more than likely because the person filming did not want to stick around. It was quite the chilling sight to see this thing slithering around the trees. We can only imagine how scary it must have been in person. The last thing you need in the middle of the jungle is a chase with a prehistoric snake. While speaking of uncomfortable encounters in the middle of nowhere, have a look at this terrifying snake sighting that happened in a remote river. The exact location of the sighting remains a bit of a mystery, but these people stared directly into the eyes of a TITANOBOA while they were in their kayaks. Everything seemed fairly normal as they were paddling down the river in their small crafts, but things were just a little too quiet. There was no sign of any troubles lurking in the water, but it turns out the real threat was already above the surface. Sitting directly ahead of them was a giant snake that was lying on a log. Perhaps it was just relaxing and catching a bit of sunshine, but that didn't make things any less terrifying. It is so much bigger than any normal species, and it was not afraid to show off its full stature. Thankfully, it looks like these people just carried on with their trip, but this was not what they were expecting to see. Now have a look at this snake that was too big for its own good. It appears that this serpent really underestimated its own size when it tried to climb these trees. The trunks and the branches are incredibly thin. Just from taking a quick look at the snake, it was quite obvious that this was never going to work. A group of tourists came across the snake in the middle of the jungle and had to stop in their tracks to admire it. Amazingly, they didn't even sound worried, but that might have been because the snake was not paying any attention to them. The serpent was far more interested in making its way towards the top of these tiny trees. As soon as its body started to put any sort of weight on the tree, the thin branch snapped and took the snake down with it. Not only was this a perfect display of the snake's weight and strength, it was also a clear indication for everyone to just stay away. Here we have a group of hikers that ran into a very unexpected surprise. Looks like these guys were just trying to find their way through the forest when they came across a very scary roadblock. As they turned the corner on the trail and continued on their journey, they were stopped by an absolutely massive snake. Not only was it incredibly long, but the snake was wider than any other serpents they'd seen before. It pretty much covered the entire trail, and this presented the hikers with a pretty unsettling dilemma. They just stood there and admired it for a brief moment until one of them built up the courage to push the snake towards the grass. This could have ended very badly, but thankfully the snake did not decide to retaliate. It slowly made its way towards the edge of the trail and slithered its way into the nearby grass. Watching it move along the trail was even more unsettling, as it showed just how big the snake really was. Experts believe it measured well over 40 feet long, and this would definitely put it in TITANOBOA territory. Although they managed to escape this encounter unharmed, there's a very good chance these guys will not be returning to this trail in the near future. And finally, we have this giant snake that was hiding in a cliff. Looks like these hunters made the discovery of a lifetime in a very hidden location. They'd been tracking a large snake for quite some time, and their search led them to a small cliff at the side of a road. There was a large hole in the side of the cliff, and the hunters knew that their target was hiding somewhere inside. They used their tools to dig around the hole so they could get inside and get a look at their target. After knocking some of the dirt out of the way, the hunters spotted the large serpent that had burrowed itself into the earth. After the hunters continued to dig and poke at the snake, the large creature finally decided it was time to leave and spun its head around. It slowly made its way out of the hole and slithered its way past the crew that had just broken into its home. This could have gone south in a heartbeat, but it looks like the snake was far more interested in just fleeing the scene. Even the trackers had to stop and watch in amazement as the snake slithered past them. Now it seems like many people believe these hunters might have discovered a real-life TITANOBOA. And that covers our look at the unbelievable TITANOBOA sightings that were caught on video. We hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you all for the next one.